let's talk about shopping again. But this time it's actually one of my shower thoughts that I suddenly realized that so far this year I haven't really bought anything for myself. So I kind of accidentally stopped shopping. But let me kind of go back a little bit and tell you how that could even happen. 10 years ago, I would still really enjoy to shop. Back then it was secondhand shopping. A bit before, we would spend at least once a week, we would spend an afternoon in the city browsing all the stores and just buying something if we found something that we liked, me and my friends especially. And then I, 8 years ago, I started trying to be more intentional and more minimalist. And so naturally I started thinking a bit more about the individual purchases that I made, but I still bought stuff. Sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less, sometimes it was new stuff, sometimes it was secondhand things, sometimes it was things that I needed, sometimes it was just stuff I wanted. Sometimes I decluttered these things 3 months later, sometimes I kept them until now. And I think about 3 years ago, I started my low buy journey, where I gave myself the allowance of one item a month, so that I had a certain guideline of how much I buy. And in the beginning, I thought it was really hard to stick to one thing per month. I wanted to buy more, but later it got easier. And I never changed that guideline. I kind of gave it up and thought yeah, maybe I'm gonna buy more again. And now I did not buy anything. By I did not buy anything, I mean I did buy groceries, obviously. I did buy school supplies for my son. I did buy new hair soap for my hair. I also bought a microphone for my business, and I also bought a book for €1 that I realized one day later I had already read. That's the stuff I bought so far this year. And I also want to be super transparent here and say that, of course, as a content creator, I sometimes get stuff for free. But I want to argue that it's not the same as shopping, because it's not browsing and picking out, but it's more so intentionally choosing something from a certain brand, and it has to fit the campaign, it has to fit the season, it has to fit many things, so it doesn't really feel like shopping. So these were the hard facts, but how has it happened that I kind of stopped shopping, and what does that mean now in my life? So one of the surprising things is that I never planned to completely stop shopping, and I intentionally never made a no buy year or no buy challenge of any lengths, because I thought it makes more sense to always go low buy, because I always attempted something I can do long term. I didn't want to create this vacuum, this oh, I'm waiting until the challenge is over and then I'm gonna buy all this stuff that I'm now not buying. So I always wanted to think long term and find a measurement, a guideline that could work forever. And so I think that's something I would highly recommend for everyone that's trying to buy less. Try to implement something that fades out buying as a habit, and not try to make a hard cut, because that's not something you're gonna be able to sustain long term. But of course, that's just what works for me. So maybe for you, it's a good idea to have that hard cut of a no buy, just to kind of catch yourself and get a break if it's really mindless buying. I think almost nobody just does it out of a habit that they cannot control at all. They just buy stuff without realizing. Usually we do give it some thought. Usually we do buy things that we like, that we think we're gonna use. But then later on we realize that we buy way more than we use, that we constantly buy the wrong stuff with good intention. And I think so it's really important. And for me, my minimalism journey and sustainability journey was a really, really good help there to learn what the things are that I'm actually going to use. It helped me to see my mistakes and learn more about myself and the stuff that I use and the stuff that I don't use and the stuff I'm attracted towards in a store that I won't use in the end. And I think that's something that takes practice, and that's also kind of a reason why I think that over these past 3 years of like low buy, habits change gradually. And now I think I just know way more if I need something or not, and if something is actually going to add value to my life or not. That being said, I do want to say there are a few things that we can do that help us buy less and be happy with what we have. I have made videos about this topic, and I'm going to link you the most recent one here, because I think it's really, really important to also think about the psychology behind it. Like, why do we always want to buy stuff? And even if we know that that's most likely not going to make us happy, why is it so hard to quit? I'm talking more about that in that video, but I just want to mention a few points that I think are really important. And that is, I think it helps to make a list. Just write down all of the stuff that you want to have and do not buy them instantly, because with a certain amount of time, even if it's just a few days, a lot of stuff becomes meaningless and you don't think you need it anymore. And if you just buy it as soon as you think of it, then usually it feels like you really need it. And then another thing is, try to appreciate what you have instead of the item. Not buying the thing gives you the money you would have spent on it, gives you the place it would have lived in your home, gives you the time that you would have spent like maintaining this item. But also just appreciate the stuff you have already. And I think it's such an amazing experience to feel grateful for the things that we have, that have supported us in our lives for many years now. And it really helps with not always wanting to buy new stuff. And here I do want to say that, of course, a part of the reason like why it just happened that I stopped shopping is also that I now have a lot of good things. Back when I like started minimalism, intentional living, even like building my minimalist wardrobe, I still had a lot of things that were working somehow, but I really didn't like them. They weren't super functional. They maybe were bad quality. They were maybe falling apart already. And so over the past few years, I had the chance with intentional buying and with the brand partnerships that I had to kind of swap out a lot of these things. And now I have a lot of like good stuff. Like, I don't have a lot, but almost everything that I have works well. I chose it intentionally. I like it. It does a good job in my life. And I think that is crucial. I stopped shopping does not mean that I'm never going to buy something again, because this month it has changed. I have already bought 3 things, I think. And that is a new bike, because the old one, I just didn't like it. But that's a story for the in and out video that's coming next. Then I also tried to buy a winter jacket and I got scammed, which is also a story that's going to be in the in and out video, which is going to be uploaded next. And then I also bought, what did I buy? What's the third thing? I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't buy anything, but I have a new t-shirt and I have a new pair of jeans, and the pair of jeans was free, and this is what was from like a collaboration partner. So there is some new stuff in my life this month. I bought some things already, and one thing that I realized over the past few years is that oftentimes in the beginning of the year, I don't buy so much. And in summer, I in general like just enjoy time outside, travel, time with friends, and it just, this urge to buy new stuff is just not there. But then autumn comes around and I need more things. Like during the past few years, I needed underwear at that time of the year, and I want to buy things. This time it was like a winter jacket, and oh, I'm knitting new sweaters. So there's more new things in my life, even though they were not bought. And I think it might make sense to think about seasons as well. So either because summer is over and that urge to buy stuff is just getting stronger, Black Friday is coming, I don't know. But maybe it's also, you know, sometimes life cycles of underwear, when they always just hold up for 2 years, then it's always going to be the same time of the year where you need to buy new ones. I don't know. I think it makes sense to maybe look at your behavior over a longer time and see if there are certain times of the year where you tend to buy more. And I think in the end, the idea is never to like stop shopping completely, but to get to a point where you are happy with how much you buy, you feel in control and you're not spending more money than you want, and you just buy the stuff that actually will add value to your life, that you will enjoy using and use a lot. And that way, you know, it's more sustainable, it's more minimalist, makes you more happy, it saves you money, I think that's a great thing. So this is kind of my story of how I accidentally stopped shopping, and you know, we're gonna continue and see how much I buy. And I want to give you a number for everyone who's curious. This year so far, I got 11 pieces from brands, which is a lot, like it's more than one per month. But on the other hand, I think an average German person buys something over 50 pieces a year, which is like one piece per week. So even though I have all of these brands that gift me stuff, it's still a lot less than the average person shops. So this is everything for today, and I do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how you are shopping, if you want to change something about it, what are your best tips and tricks to not buy stuff you actually don't want. And I do want to link you a video here that you can check out. Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting me on Patreon, to everyone who's supporting me with super thanks here, or also just if you have watched this video until the end. I do hope to see you right here in this video or next time. Goodbye.